Tonight, the grim task of learning who died in Tuesday's avalanche at Castle Peak. The memories that friends and family are holding on to in this time of grief.
I'm Dan Noyes in Nevada City. Questions are building about how the avalanche tragedy happened in the first place.
I'm meteorologist Sandia Patel. I'm tracking the avalanche danger there, plus the winter chill here. The forecast is coming up.
And tonight, we will introduce you to JetBlue and the story behind how this golden doodle got his nickname.
From ABC7, live breaking news.
I felt so sorry for the family. Unbelievable.
From shock to sadness as we begin to learn about the lives lost to an avalanche. Good evening, I'm Amma Dates.
And I'm Dan Ashley. Thanks for joining us here. For the first time, we're learning who died in the deadliest skiing avalanche in modern U.S. history. Bodies have been recovered so far, 8 bodies. 1 person is still missing.
In total, 9 people, 7 women and 2 men. Included in this group, 3 ski guides.
Now, the victims include skiers Carrie Atkin, Danielle Keatley, Kate Morse, and Kate Vitt.
Liz Claybaugh and Caroline Sakar are also among the victims. They were sisters.
A joint statement from the families of all of the women reads in part, quote, "We are devastated beyond words. Our focus right now is supporting our children through this incredible tragedy and honoring the lives of these extraordinary women. They were all mothers, wives, and friends, all of whom connected through the love of the outdoors. They were passionate, skilled skiers who cherished time together in the mountains. Some of them lived here in the Bay Area."
And we have live team coverage tonight to understand the tragedy and to hear from people who knew the victims. Let's begin with ABC7 Eyewitness News reporter Cornell Bernard. Cornell.
Hey, Amma and Dan, you know, the scope of this tragedy, this horrific tragedy, just being realized across Marin. Families are being impacted from Mill Valley and beyond.
I can't. I'm still under shock. She's my neighbor for the last 4 years.
Cheryl Longman now coping with the loss of her neighbor in Greenbrae. Kate Vitt is one of several skiers from Marin County killed this week in that massive avalanche near Castle Peak.
Vibrant, friendly person, devoted to her kids. I'd see them, she'd walk them to school in the morning.
She was just out there with her kids and getting them hustled off to school and after school activities, and she just seemed like a super friendly, great mom.
Carlene Cullen says Kate and her husband have 2 young sons. The Kentfield School District sending a message home to parents, breaking the news to the school community.
It's truly a tragedy. It's a classic family walking their dog kind of family who went skiing on the weekend and, ends up in an avalanche.
In Mill Valley, Mayor Max Perry telling the AP, "Our heart in Mill Valley goes out to the families that have been impacted." It's believed a Mill Valley mom also lost her life on the ski trip. Lorraine Adams, owner of Mill Valley Coffee Shop, saw her just days ago.
I don't know her intimately, just that she's very nice when she's here. They just said that they'll be going skiing, so we won't see them for the weekend. Turned out we won't see her ever.
Wow.
Yeah, well, it's very unfortunate.
The Mill Valley mayor says he plans to put out more information about local families impacted by the avalanche when he gets it. In the meantime, just lots of shock and disbelief. I really have to say it's been a day of mourning here. We're live in Mill Valley. Cornell Bernard, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right, Cornell, thank you. And the tragedy in Tahoe is hitting close to home for Governor Newsom. His family has some connections to the victims.
Turns out a lot of mutual friends in Marin County. Just learning some of my wife's old family friends. It's tragic. It's the most devastating avalanche. There's a loss of life we've ever experienced, and these were some experienced guides that were out there, and that's what's even more concerning and disturbing about this. But just our hearts go out to those that lost their lives.
San Francisco Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi released a statement saying in part, quote, "Heartbroken by the tragic avalanche at Lake Tahoe. Our prayers are with the survivors and the families who lost loved ones, including those from our San Francisco community." Now, 2 of the victims were sisters, one of whom lived in San Francisco. ABC7 Eyewitness News reporter Suzanne Fawn spoke with that victim's neighbor and has more on her life.
The news from Lake Tahoe hit home here in San Francisco, specifically the Bernal Heights neighborhood. 45-year-old Caroline Sekar and her 52-year-old sister Liz Claybaugh of Idaho died in the avalanche. Sekar's husband, Kieran Sekar, shared a statement with the New York Times writing, "Caroline spent her final days doing what she loved best, with the people who loved her the most, in her favorite place. She was with me, her children, and her puppy, and then on one last adventure with her sister and close friends, who she now rests with." We talked to a neighbor, Jen Wofford, who is still processing what happened.
It's a huge loss. She was just a wonderful human being who loved life and was just full of love and just a very vibrant person. One of the nicest people I've ever known.
Wofford says Sekar traveled to Tahoe often.
I know that she loved skiing. I mean, a lot of her profile pictures were like her in ski goggles, you know. She loved winter sports.
Sekar's brother, McAllister Claybaugh, told the New York Times his sisters were the best people he ever knew, that they were, quote, incredible sisters, mothers, wives, and friends. And the idea that they were both gone is, I don't even know how to put it into words. The Times reports that many of the women who were killed in the avalanche went to college together at Stanford.
Caroline was just the most solid, gold, beautiful person, just the sweetest, kindest, most positive person. Radiated sunshine.
In San Francisco, Suzanne Fawn, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
And the town of Truckee is organizing a community candlelight vigil this weekend to give people a chance to gather and grieve. It will be Sunday, 6 p.m. at the Eagle Plaza in downtown Truckee. People are asked to bring candles.
Of the 15 people in the ski party, 6 people survived the avalanche. 4 men, which includes one of the guides. 2 women also survived. The ski group left Frog Lake Huts on Tuesday morning and was caught in an avalanche near Castle Peak. This was around 11:30 in the morning. Efforts to recover those buried in the snow are on pause tonight as weather conditions in the Castle Peak area are still just too dangerous. 8 skiers have been confirmed dead and 1 other is presumed dead. This is, as you've heard, the deadliest skiing avalanche in modern U.S. history. Many of those killed had been friends for years and had ties to the Bay Area. Cal OSHA has opened an investigation. The Forest Service has closed the Castle Peak area for the next month for safety reasons. So let's continue our live team coverage for you now in the Sierra. ABC7 Eyewitness News reporter Dan Noyes joins us live from the Sheriff's Office in Nevada City with the very latest. Dan?
Dan, that's right. The U.S. Forest Service closed Castle Peak because it's just too dangerous. They closed it for a month. They want to give first responders a chance to use the tools they need, including, the snowcats, the aircraft, even explosives. In the meantime, there are questions about how this all began in the first place. I spoke with San Francisco attorney Theo Emerson as he headed out for a run at Palisades Tahoe today. Some of the Marin County moms who booked that backcountry ski trip were in his friend group.
I don't know any of them personally, but I've had friends who know them, so it's 1 degree of separation for me. I think it's an absolute tragedy.
Emerson is also an experienced backcountry skier, and he questions the decision by Blackbird Mountain Guides to send the 11 clients and 4 guides into Castle Peak. A snowmobile rider died there last month in an avalanche, and a new avalanche watch went out this past Sunday right before the women and their guides set out to the same area.
We have a pretty fundamental rule in avalanche education. If it's a high-risk avalanche day, you stay out of avalanche terrain.
The founder of Blackbird Mountain Guides, Zeb Blay, issued a statement overnight. We ask that people following this tragedy refrain from speculating. We don't have all the answers yet, and it may be some time before we do. Blay also said this is the saddest event his team has experienced. In addition to mourning the loss of 6 clients, we also mourn the loss of 3 highly experienced members of our guide team. But questions linger whether the Blackbird Mountain Guide team should have taken special caution after a weeks-long snow drought. That old snow had hardened, then came several feet of new snow.
And so that snow, new fallen snow, sits on a very firm layer, and it doesn't have the time to bond well. And so it is already unstable.
There was a likelihood of natural avalanches, meaning non-human triggered avalanches that day. There was a likelihood of human triggered avalanches that day. And so it's just a tragic thing that this group found themselves in that terrain at that time.
Now, Clement says the most dangerous time for an avalanche is 24 to 48 hours right after a big dump of snow. Meantime, Blackbird Mountain Guides has shut down operations through Sunday. The owner says he might extend that through 1 week or perhaps even 2 weeks. In Nevada City, Dan Noyes, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right. Dan, thank you very much. Now, stay with ABC7 Eyewitness News for updates on the victims, the survivors, and the investigation into this deadly tragedy. You can find the latest information on our website, abc7news.com, or the ABC7 Bay Area app.
Breaking news, a skier who disappeared this week at North Star California Resort has been found dead. 21-year-old Colin Kang of Fremont went skiing around noon on Tuesday, according to a social media post from the San Jose State University ski and snowboard team. Kang graduated from San Jose State last year. North Star confirms he was working this year as an employee of the resort. He was reported missing last night. A search and rescue team found his body this morning on an advanced tree-lined trail. Kang is the third skier killed at North Star in the past 2 weeks. A 53-year-old Hillsborough man died Sunday in a collision with another skier, and a 26-year-old Los Angeles man was killed in a ski accident at North Star almost 2 weeks ago. And more snow is on the way for the Sierra. It doesn't seem to stop, so conditions are still extremely dangerous.
Yeah, let's bring in ABC7 meteorologist Sandia Patel for a look at the weather there. Sandia.
Yeah, Dan and Alma, it is still snowing right now. Good evening. Take a look at this live picture right now from the mountains, where you will see there is snow on the ground. Light snow being reported in Tahoe and Truckee. 80 is closed from Colfax all the way to Nevada state line. 50, 88, and 4 requiring chains. Live Doppler 7 showing you that snow is still falling. The backcountry of the Central Sierra under an avalanche warning. So the avalanche danger remains high until 5 a.m. tomorrow. There is a winter storm warning going until 10 p.m. tonight. Additional foot of snow expected at the 4,000 foot level. I'll be back with a full look at our local forecast coming up. Dan, Alma.
Okay, Sandy, thank you. Still to come here on ABC7 Eyewitness News at 6. More Super Bowl numbers. These come from law enforcement, and the topic is trafficking.
And next, a live update from the courthouse where the trial is wrapping up for the Los Gatos mom accused of throwing sex and alcohol-fueled parties for teenagers. An update on a story we've been following closely for almost 2 years. The owner of a San Francisco towing company is headed to federal prison. Specialty Towing first made headlines when a viral video showed one of its trucks trying to tow a car in downtown San Francisco. The owner, Jose Vicente Badillo, pleaded guilty to having competitors' tow trucks set on fire. He also pleaded guilty in a separate case involving insurance fraud. He received 5 years in prison for the arson scheme. For the insurance fraud case, he received 2 years and 3 months in federal prison. The two sentences will run concurrently. That means Badillo will serve them at the same time. He's also being ordered to pay restitution, which will be determined at a later date.
Closing arguments began today in the case of a Los Gatos mother accused of hosting parties in which she offered alcohol to underage teenagers and encouraged them to perform sex acts. Shannon O'Connor faces 63 counts, including felony child endangerment. ABC7 Eyewitness News South Bay reporter Dustin Dorsey is live now with what the prosecution had to say. Dustin?
Dan, it was a long, disturbing, and emotional day in court as those prosecutors laid out their closing arguments, part of 5 years of court proceedings. Our cameras were the only ones there today as a decision on Shannon O'Connor draws near.
O'Connor was present Thursday in custody and being held without bail. Thursday, the prosecution offered their closing arguments as to why O'Connor should be punished and convicted for her alleged actions. Prosecutors say she is charged with crimes back in 2021, but the teens testified their involvement with O'Connor dated back to 2019, when some of them were as young as 11 years old. During this time, the prosecution argued O'Connor's actions and inactions were a gross departure from the way an ordinary, careful person would act. Powerful testimony was shared in court in the form of accounts read aloud from the 20 teens said to have been involved, their pictures on display for the jury. They said O'Connor provided copious amounts of alcohol, encouraged them to drink and perform sexual acts with each other, and even suggested the children would become suicidal if the acts weren't carried out. Quotes from the alleged teen victims included, "It was more alcohol than I have ever seen. I have a hard time comprehending how someone could do this to a child. She stripped me of my innocence. She is a predator to any society she is in. I think she deserves everything coming her way. The defense will have their opportunity for final arguments on Friday.
The prosecution will continue their closing arguments as they ran through today and will continue tomorrow at 9 a.m. before the defense gets their final opportunity to do so. We reached out to both sides after court to see if they had any comment, and they said that they will not be speaking until after a verdict is decided. We are live in San Jose. Dustin Dorsey, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Look at that, a downpour to start the day in San Jose today. This was around 10:30 this morning. It was dumping rain and windy as well. We have been keeping an eye on PG&E power outages today. The current outage map right here on your screen. PG&E says more than 6,200 customers in all are without power at last check. The peninsula is the hardest hit. A utility pole that came down in San Mateo County caused Highway 1 in Pacifica to be shut down since 6 a.m. It's expected to reopen in about 15 minutes, so 6:30 tonight. ABC7 Eyewitness News reporter Gloria Rodriguez shows you the mess that it created.
A traffic nightmare on Highway 1 in Pacifica as both directions near Manor Drive shut down since about 6 this morning. Drivers taking side streets to get around the closure.
This is kind of normal in Pacifica. There's only one way in and one way out. And if you happen to get on the freeway, you're stuck.
This utility pole falling during the storm that brought heavy winds and rain. Fiber optic lines coming down across the freeway. A driver hitting the down lines.
Causing minor damage to her car. From what I was told, she went ahead and safely was able to get her car pulled over where North County Fire Authority's fire department was able to attend to any needs of her. She was fine. There was no injuries reported.
At one point, thousands in the area were without power, and traffic lights were out throughout the region, including at Skyline Boulevard in San Bruno. The Chevron on Milagro Drive in Pacifica was impacted.
For 2 hours, I didn't have no power, so I couldn't sell no gas.
It was dark in our house, so I was like, oh, wow, okay. And then just trying to get my son to school this morning, it was interesting. There was no lights on.
Angry waves crashing against cliffs, and a high surf advisory remains in effect until Friday morning. North County Fire Authority spokesperson Jeff Higgins tells me that's not all.
The wind, the rain, down power lines, or cable lines throughout Pacifica and Daly City. We have had reported of tree limbs falling down.
And some good news, a PG&E outage map shows power has been restored to most people in the area. In Pacifica, Gloria Rodriguez, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right, you could tell how windy it was out there today.
Oh, you sure could. And meteorologist Sandy Patel is here with the full forecast, although we're getting a nice break from the rain.
Yeah, we are indeed. And Dan and Alma, just look at these live pictures and you'll see what I'm talking about. Hope you're enjoying the break as well. As you will notice, fair skies across the Bay Area right now from our various tower cameras. We are seeing quieter weather on Live Doppler 7, but that's not how it started out. As you know, we did have pounding rain. 1/3 of an inch to about 1.5 inches has fallen so far. And not only that, we saw the snow over our higher peaks, such as Mount Hamilton, some of the hills up in Lake and Mendocino counties. So you're looking at a statewide picture. Sierra is still picking up snow. It's really scattered all the way down to Southern California. Those winds are still going, gusting to 40 miles an hour at SFO, where they do have an airport weather warning. 26 in Hayward. You will notice 29 in San Jose and Napa at gusting to 28 miles an hour. Temperatures right now mostly 40s and 50s. Clear Lake has already dropped, though. Tomorrow morning, temperatures are really going to take a nosedive. So we do have extreme cold warnings for the areas shaded in dark blue, which is the North and East Bay valleys and mountains. 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. tomorrow. The rest of the region under a cold weather advisory. San Francisco and the coast are excluded from this. Those temperatures in the warning area, mid-20s to low 30s. Advisory, low to mid-30s. So you definitely want to take precaution. 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. tomorrow. Solano County going under a freeze warning, 28 to 32 degrees. It's going to get cold. But for now, the winds are still gusty for the next couple of hours. Notice they really drop off. That's going to allow those temperatures to come down. High surf advisory is still going until 9 a.m. tomorrow. Current wave heights are 8 to 14 feet. Watch out, risk of rip currents and sneaker waves. So really, we're not on the storm impact scale, but an isolated shower or two, not out of the question through late tonight. And then we'll see quieter weather tomorrow. You get a break from the rain. The morning will begin with very cold conditions. Could see some frost out there as well. 29 in Santa Rosa, down to 30 degrees in Napa and Livermore, 33 Concord, 35 San Jose, Fremont. You'll notice even Oakland 38 degrees, 40s right along the coastline. Tomorrow afternoon, you're looking at highs that will be primarily in the 50s for the Bay Area. Cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. Here's a look at the AccuWeather 7-day for the coast. We're going to start out with that winter chill and then milder weather for the weekend. We do have some showers coming in with a level 1 on Sunday. It's not going to be a washout. A 1 for Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Now, that's not looking like a cold storm. That's going to be more of a warmer storm around the Bay shoreline. A cold start tomorrow morning. We'll certainly go with temperatures moderating as we hit the weekend, both daytime and nighttime. Level 1 Sunday through Tuesday off and on, and then Thursday. And as we look at our inland AccuWeather 7-day forecast, a very bitter cold winter morning. The weekend is going to be milder. We'll have a level 1 Sunday, and then off and on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday we'll have some scattered showers. So we're going to keep the rain going, Alma and Dan, but we're going to get a break.
Okay.
For a couple of days.
Keeps us on our toes.
Yes.
Thanks, Sandia.
All right, coming up here, a little dog with a big story to tell. How JetBlue got his nickname. Yes, it involves an airport. For some reason, a woman trying to catch a flight out of Las Vegas decided to just abandon her dog.
Yeah, reporter Patrick Cornell shows you what happened.
This dog is now in safe hands after police say it was abandoned at the Las Vegas airport. Police published this video showing a passenger arriving with the Golden Doodle in tow. In a statement, police say the woman didn't fill out paperwork to fly with the pup as a service dog, so she was denied a boarding pass. Police say the woman left the animal tied right there at the ticket counter and went to her gate. Airport workers gave the dog some scratches while authorities tracked down the owner inside the airport. Once officers found her, according to police, she claimed the dog had a tracking device suggesting she could leave it behind and it would return to her. She was arrested and booked for animal abandonment and resisting arrest. The dog, nicknamed JetBlue, is now with a rescue organization. I'm Patrick Cornell.
How could you do that? What a sweet little dog.
I know.
But all's well that ends well here. That organization is called Retriever Rescue of Las Vegas. They've gotten JetBlue neutered now, vaccinated, and in a foster home while they work on finding his forever home, someone who will not abandon him.
Yes, and as you can imagine, there were already a dozen applications. By the way, there was a 10-day holding period, but his original owner never came to pick him up.
So JetBlue will be free and clear when someone picks him up for good. Well, coming up next, a lifeline for public transit in the Bay Area. We're talking more than $500 million and the big difference that's going to make. Plus,
the youngest victim we saw was 12 years old, which is extremely tragic.
Tonight, what law enforcement calls a success when it comes to targeting human trafficking efforts around Super Bowl 60.
Well, the numbers are in tonight. Super Bowl 60 anti-human trafficking operations led to the arrest of 29 traffickers and the recovery of 73 sex trafficking victims.
ABC7 Eyewitness News reporter Luz Pena has this update.
As thousands visited the Bay Area for the Super Bowl, behind the scenes, a task force of law enforcement agencies and undercover investigators were focused on combating human trafficking.
There was a suite of over 20 different analysts, both local, state, federal, nonprofit partners that were all providing real-time intelligence packets that we were disseminating out into the field to our law enforcement partners. Never been done before.
Lieutenant Josh Singleton is the commander for the Human Trafficking Task Force for the Santa Clara County DA's office. Where did your team identify the most human trafficking in the Bay Area?
Some of the hot spots that we saw were as far south as Salinas, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, Vallejo.
29 traffickers were arrested, 73 sex trafficking survivors rescued, including 10 minors.
The youngest victim we saw was 12 years old, which is extremely tragic.
Lieutenant Singleton says they don't know if the number of arrests happened due to an increase in trafficking or their combined efforts to stop it, but agencies were still ready to offer more help.
The focus at the beginning is what are the emergency basic needs? Do you have shelter? Do you have food? Do you have clothing? Do you have access to urgent medical care, mental health support? And then once those pieces are addressed, which sometimes can take 30 days, it could take 60 days, then we develop a plan for long-term support.
Investigators recovered 20 survivors from San Mateo County alone. That's where we met San Mateo County District Attorney Steve Wagstaff.
Of this operation, we've had only two cases submitted to us. At this point, we have filed charges. One of them is a 19-year-old woman who is the trafficker.
Despite these efforts, DA Wagstaff said it's difficult to prosecute traffickers.
We need two things. We need evidence that shows that the trafficker committed the crime. Not always easy. And number two, we have to have a cooperative victim.
In San Francisco, Luz Peña, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Remember, if you or someone you know is struggling with issues including assault, abuse, and more, there is local help, and it's easy to find. Go to abc7news.com/takeaction.
Public transportation is getting a temporary funding boost from the state. Governor Newsom just approved a nearly $600 million emergency loan to help stave off major service cuts and longer wait times for Bay Area riders. ABC7 Eyewitness News political reporter Monica Madden was at the bill signing in Daly City and has more on what this means for transit.
Bailing out BART. We cannot let the system fail.
Governor Gavin Newsom signing a bill Thursday with a $590 million loan to boost Bay Area transit.
We've been frankly living off our inheritance. We've taken a lot of these systems for granted. We haven't invested in them over the course of many, many decades.
Supporters say it's a necessary lifeline as public transit agencies have struggled to rebound ridership losses from the pandemic.
But fundamentally, this is about people in the Bay Area. This is about people who rely on transit to get to work every day.
It comes as BART is looking at a November sales tax ballot measure to provide a long-term funding stream.
How do we know that BART has all of the safeguards in place to actually pay this loan back and make sure that they're meeting their cash flow problems right now?
Republicans questioning the money.
So I understand the need for BART. It just seems concerning to me. When especially the Department of Finance and the LAO's office has stated to us that we are entering into our fourth deficit. It seems like another element that we're adding to our responsibilities as a state.
It will be paid back in 12 years.
I asked the governor about the loan terms.
What are the stipulations if, for example, BART might not be able to pay that back?
It is not backed by the general fund. It will work against the capital fund, what is referred to as the Transit Intercity Rail Capital Program. And that specific capital program is the security as it relates to this $590 million loan.
In Daly City, Monica Madden, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A settlement tonight between Contra Costa County and the Martinez Refining Company over what county officials call a series of violations. The $10.5 million penalty involves flaring, fires, and leaks between 2020 and 24. It includes a Thanksgiving Day 2022 flare-up that sent thick white ash raining down on nearby neighborhoods.
These impacts affected real people, families, workers, and residents who deserve to feel safe in their homes and in their neighborhoods.
The Martinez Refining Company issued a statement saying it has agreed to the settlement without any admission of liability to any of the allegations and or claims, adding that it, quote, recognizes that we must earn the right to operate in Martinez, and we are committed to safe, reliable, and environmentally responsible operations and to being actively engaged locally.
Several major national parks are dropping advanced entrance reservations this summer. Arches, Glacier, and Yosemite National Parks put a timed entry system in place because of the pandemic. The National Park Service says the move is meant to expand public access, but advocacy groups warn increased congestion can put a strain on staff and damage park resources.
All right, coming up next, an attempt to right a wrong in Piedmont more than a century later.
Plus, the Southern California city trying to use AI to better train 911 dispatchers.
Remember, the San Francisco Chinese New Year Parade is just 3 weeks away. ABC7 is your official home for the parade, and we'll bring it to you live Saturday, March 7th.
Former Prince Andrew, the brother of Britain's King Charles III, is out of jail tonight, hours after his arrest, reportedly on charges tied to his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Photos show Andrew sitting low in the back seat of a car as he left a police station. The former prince's arrest is reportedly linked to emails released by the U.S. Justice Department as part of the Epstein files. Andrew is accused of passing confidential emails to Epstein while serving as a UK trade envoy. Epstein survivors hope the arrest forces the Justice Department to act.
They need to, they need to take some action on this. It's serious. We got to look at other countries and we got to see ourselves. And, other countries are looking at us and they're talking about us and they're saying, what are they doing? Why aren't they taking any action?
King Charles dodged reporter questions at a public appearance this evening, but in a statement issued earlier this evening, said he wholeheartedly supports the investigation into his brother, saying, quote, the law must take its course.
A woman seeking reparations after learning about her great-grandfather's fight for a home he bought more than 100 years ago. He was the first black man to live in Piedmont, but was forced out by a racial terror campaign. ABC7 Eyewitness News reporter Anzar Hassan has the story of his descendants' lawsuit.
Sidney Deering, a hugely successful Oakland businessman, became the first black homeowner in Piedmont when he bought this house in January of 1924. But within a year, the family was forced out.
A 500-person mob showed up at their doorstep. Multiple bombs were left in the vicinity of their home. There were threatening letters threatening to lynch them.
Their story goes like this. Due to laws prohibiting black people from owning property, his white mother-in-law bought the home for $10,000 with Sidney's money and transferred it to the Deerings. Following complaints and protests against the Deerings, the city of Piedmont tried to buy them out, offering less than what was paid and taking action to condemn the property, saying they needed to build a road. That road was never built, resulting in this lawsuit filed by the Deerings' descendants.
Our complaint has not been able to identify any other black family that was subsequently able to own a home until the 1950s and the 1960s.
Leah Aiden is senior counsel with the NAACP's Legal Defense Fund and represents the family. The complaint says the city unlawfully used eminent domain to forcibly remove the Deerings just because they were black.
This is a wealthy enclave, and the people who were not forced out of Piedmont have been able to enjoy the value of their home, the high quality education that comes along with the community.
I think most people don't understand the racism that was embedded in not just Piedmont, but the way most American cities developed.
Tim Root, a former Piedmont City Council member, says he learned about Piedmont's past following the George Floyd protests and wanted the city to acknowledge that history. He proposed installing a memorial across the street. Piedmont officials declined to be interviewed, but in a statement to ABC7 Eyewitness News, write, the memorial is an important part of the community's commitment to honest reckoning with the past as we work together to build a more welcoming, inclusive future. But the family says that's not enough.
What the city has been willing to do to date is simply insufficient, and there is more that they have the resources and the authority to do.
In Piedmont, Anzar Hassan, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Well, coming next, we have several days before the rain returns. You'll see what's in store for the weekend in Sandia's 7-day forecast.
And this Sunday is the Black Joy Parade. ABC7 is a proud sponsor. Come out and celebrate. The event kicks off Sunday at 12:30 p.m. at 14th and Broadway in Oakland. An update on a story we're following out of the South Bay. Sunnyvale police have confirmed 2 people were shot yesterday afternoon at a Marriott Residence Inn off Lawrence Expressway. Officers found 1 man at the scene and say another victim was dropped off at the hospital. Both are expected to survive. The suspects had escaped by the time police arrived. Oakland police say the person who stole the mayor's SUV from City Hall was arrested this afternoon, but OPD says it's not releasing any other details at the time. At this time, officials say someone broke into Mayor Barbara Lee's office on Monday, stole the keys to her city car, and took off in that car. Mayor Lee was not there or hurt. The car was eventually recovered in Vallejo.
Right, how to do a difficult job better. One city is using artificial intelligence to review 911 calls to help train dispatchers. Reporter Bianca Bono from our sister station in Los Angeles explains how it works.
Long Beach 911, what is your emergency?
A dispatcher inside Long Beach's Emergency Communications Center answers one of the approximately 600,000 911 calls the city gets every year.
Do you know roughly about how old he is?
At least 2% of those calls have to be reviewed annually for quality assurance, meaning 12,000, which is why the city says AI can help.
With this AI tool, we're actually able to review 100%.
The program, Comms Coach AI, was developed by a company called GovWorks, and the city of Long Beach has joined around 250 other 911 call centers, approving a contract with them. $68,000 a year until February of 2028. Reginald Harrison, a director with the city, says the program will assign a score to every call, rating how the dispatcher handled it, assessing their professionalism, follow-up questions, and judgment. We asked how dispatchers feel about the program.
I think that dispatchers that have kept up with the industry are not surprised.
Supervisors who were previously tasked with assessing the calls will now review the ones that are flagged by the program and provide coaching. Harrison guarantees the goal is to get better, not to replace jobs.
AI will not take calls from the public. AI will not replace human judgment.
Get somebody out there as soon as possible.
As the program prepares to launch, it's also preparing to store sensitive personal data. The city's technology department has assured that data will remain private.
The information that AI is listening to stays within the city's secure data system.
And right now the program is in a pilot phase. City officials tell us they hope to have it up and running as soon as possible. In Long Beach, Bianca Bono, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
And on Storm Watch, here's the reason why. Caltrans says 80 is closed in both directions over Donner Summit. Still very messy out there. The CHP says the snow has brought down trees and power lines. There is no estimated time of opening. In addition, westbound Highway 50 is closed at Myers. Change are required on other open parts of both 80 and Highway 50. It's just rough sledding up there right now.
It certainly is. And here we are dealing with some wind today.
Yeah, it was breezy, wasn't it? The meteorologist Sandy Patel is here with more. Sandy.
Yeah, Dan and Amma, those wind gusts in some of our locations have went up to 60 to 70 miles an hour. Still gusty out there. On Live Doppler 7, though, rain has pretty much quieted down. May see an isolated shower tonight. Tomorrow afternoon, it's mostly cloudy. Temperatures in the 50s for most of the Bay Area. And as we look at the hourly forecast here, you'll notice another system starts to move in closer to us Saturday night. North Bay could see a few showers, but it's really Sunday that the rain starts to move in, and it's really scattered in nature. Another system for Monday night, and that's going to hang around going into Tuesday, possibly even into the middle of the week. So the AccuWeather 7-day forecast, morning chill tomorrow, bundle up. We get a break from the rain. Level 1, Sunday, off and on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And around the Bay shoreline, the AccuWeather 7-day, it's a cold start tomorrow. You get a couple of dry days in the Level 1 system from Sunday through Tuesday, and again on Thursday. And inland areas, bitter cold tomorrow morning. We do get that break from the rain until Sunday. That's when we start to see some more unsettled weather.
Okay.
Dan.
We start again. Sandy,
Yes.
thank you very much.
All right, Sports Director Larry Beal is here. How's it looking for the Warriors tonight?
Poor. Back to you. Oh,
In a word.
yes, there's a sportscast. No Steph Curry tonight against Boston. And what's worse, no Steph Curry for an extended period of time. The knee problem that just will not go away. And the earliest the chef might return. Next in sports. Good evening. Steph Curry had another MRI on his sore knee. No structural damage. That's good. But there is some bone bruising now. That's a concern, and this is really, really not good. Curry's already missed 5 games. He's now going to be out at least 10 more days. That's another 5 games minimum, and then he'll be reevaluated after that. So no Steph tonight against the Boston Celtics. Former Celtics big man Kristaps Porzingis will make his Golden State debut this evening. Porzingis has been out with an Achilles problem. He's also managing a cardiovascular issue called POTS that can cause fatigue and dizziness. The Zinger will be on a minutes restriction tonight, and that is something he really does not like.
I used to hate playing short spurts, especially coming back from something, because it's, you know, when you're out there for a little period of time, it's almost hard to get in a rhythm. You don't want to go in and chuck the first shot. But sometimes I do now, you know, because I know I'm playing short time. So I'm coming in, you know, just have my opportunities, have to take them and find the rhythm that way. And but yeah, again, not to put any crazy expectations on myself. Just one day at a time, build up from the low minutes I'm going to have, build up slowly, and I'll be fine.
Got to shoot your shot, then the next shot, and the next shot, and the next shot. The San Jose Earthquakes begin their second season with Bruce Arena as their head coach. Saturday, 7:30, PayPal Park, opening against Sporting Kansas City. The Quakes just missed a playoff spot last year. They're hoping to start 2026 pleasing the diehard fans known as the Ultras.
Oh, of course, it's massive to, just have the home opener here, first game of the season, and where the group's at now. Of course, every match is important, but I think, listen, the first game at home, everyone wants to win, and we have the opportunity to do so.
I wouldn't worry about goals and assists last year. That doesn't play a role this year. Every team has the same record starting on Saturday.
Really funny story involving new Cal head football coach Tosh Lupoy. In his effort to keep quarterback Jaron Keave-Sangapolutele, Lupoy flew to Hawaii immediately after his introductory news conference to see JKS got his recommitment. We realized Lupoy never changed clothes. So once the midnight meeting ended, he slept in his suit on a park bench on Oahu before coming home. Lupoy told the story on the Ari Wasserman podcast.
It's kind of pointless to go sleep, right? Like, what am I going to go do? So when it got late, you got to go back to the airport. So again, comfortable in your environments. Like, I had an amazing nap right there to the beach on a bench. And
you slept on a bench near the beach in a suit?
Same underwear, man. No doubt.
Perhaps TMI. U.S. women's hockey team beat Canada in overtime to win the gold. Hillary Knight, born in Palo Alto, scored the tying goal with just over 2 minutes left. Her 15th overall, most by any U.S. Olympic hockey player. Megan Keller scored the game winner on a brilliant goal. And Oakland's Alyssa Liu won gold in figure skating, the first U.S. woman to capture gold since 2002. She was absolutely incredible. And I'm thinking I might do my hair like that.
Why not?
But it's not enough hair. That is the issue.
Well, you have to backcomb, I think.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. I just heard, you and I know. I just heard the term.
You heard it in the salon?
It's like teasing.
I'd like the balayage with the backcomb, please. What are we talking about here?
All right, that is it for this edition of ABC7 Eyewitness News. Thank you for joining us. I'm Amma Dates.
And I'm Dan Ashley. For Cynthia Patel, Larry Beal. We'll see what the hair has in store for us tonight at 11. We appreciate your time, as always. We'll see you tonight.
Stay up for that.
Oh, yeah. Nice. I'll see you at 11, everybody.
Trust is earned. Truth is non-negotiable. And when it comes to your rights, you deserve to have someone on your side.
You know, Senator, I don't feel like I got an answer to that question.
When they try to trick you, we'll explain it. When they try to blame you, we'll expose it.
Has it ever been as bad as it is right now?
At 7 on Your Side, we investigate the issues, find the answers, and get the solutions you deserve. It's how we help build a better Bay Area. It's our commitment to you. 7 on Your Side.